Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy from Waco, Texas to Spokane, Washington. The McCarthy Athletic Center, they call it the Kennel. WCC play is underway, and the Pepperdine Waves have come up the coast from Malibu to take on the #1 team of the country, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming alongside Dan Dick. Great to have you with us here tonight from the Kennel. Well, here we go again as conference play gets underway. The Zags once again a power despite losing all that talent from last year's team. They're the #1 ranked team in the country.
Yeah, lost a ton of talent, but they're not shy from being ranked #1. But this is the earliest they've ever been ranked #1. Fourth times in the last 8 years they've been ranked #1. 6 players average double figures. They're very versatile on the offensive end.
Yeah, the offense has really led the way for this particular team. They got Mark Few on the offensive end, giving the thumbs up a lot. #1 scoring team in the country, #1 offensive efficiency in all of college basketball. All the tournament success, including an appearance a few years ago in the national championship game. 28 consecutive regular season West Coast Conference wins, including one on Thursday night in their league opener on the road at Portland. Their first conference home game tonight against a team, Pepperdine, that they have absolutely dominated under Mark Few. So trying to extend a bunch of winning streaks here tonight. The Zags lose the opening tip, though. Pepperdine has the ball first. The Waves lost their conference opener at home against University of Pacific. Their lead guard, Colby Ross, gets the first bucket of the game, and he's one of the best guards in this conference.
You're going to see a lot of Colby Ross. He's really good in the pick and roll, second in the WCC in scoring. Almost everything Pepperdine does involves Colby Ross.
They try to double team Killian Tilly, but he got the shot up off the glass and good.
Staple of Gonzaga's offense, that high-low look, big to big. Start the game off with just that.
You know, Pepperdine was picked to finish 4th in the preseason in this league. The big three, jumper no good for the Waves of Gonzaga, St. Mary's, BYU. Pepperdine was slotted in right behind those 3 teams. It has not been smooth sailing, though, so far this year.
They've had a lot of injuries, and they've also had inconsistent play by a number of guys. But Coach Romar in his second year really likes what they're starting to build.
Corey Kispert with the catch-and-shoot 3, no good. And the rebound for the senior Cameron Edwards. His younger brother Kessler is also one of the best players on this Pepperdine team. Cameron off the dribble goes right by Tilly and lays it in.
A versatile fifth-year senior is Cameron Edwards. He's battled injuries almost his whole career down in Malibu. Sophomore, what would have been his sophomore year, missed an entire season, but he's been productive this year as a senior.
Trushev misses the short one from the baseline. Well, for Pepperdine, part of the challenge here tonight is just to stay in the game with the offensive firepower of the Zags. And so far, not a bad start for a team that shot the ball so poorly the other night at home.
Yeah, you're right. 27% from the field was Pepperdine at home in their opening loss to Pacific. But for them to stay in it, they have got to shoot the ball, and they've got to force Gonzaga out of transition.
Wow, nifty move. Colby Ross has got 2 baskets already. He was the primary culprit in terms of not shooting the ball well at home. He was 3 for 17 from the field. 3 for 17.
Coach Romar described him as an ultimate competitor. We expect him to play a lot better tonight.
The guy who's got a great chance to go down as the greatest player in Pepperdine history. He is the leading assist man in this conference, one of the top assisters in all of college basketball. He's their leading scorer. Well, Ross off the dribble, goes right by Woolridge and lays it in.
Well, help side for Gonzaga, non-existent on that play. Colby Ross rejected the pick and roll. Easy 2.
So he's off to a so much better start than the other night in the conference opener. Tilly along the baseline. Killian Tilly trying to get healthy and stay healthy. A huge challenge for, I think, one of the most talented players in college basketball.
Extremely talented and versatile. And if you're not going to double team, or at least show a double team against Killian Tilly and give him all that time, he's going to make you pay.
Pepperdine's made 4 of their first 5 shots in this one. Ross, nice bounce pass down low. Woolridge stripped it away and off of the knee of Victor Ohia-Obioha, who is starting for head coach Lorenzo Romar. His second year back at Pepperdine. He had spent 15 years as the head coach of the Huskies across the state in Seattle. A very familiar name for college basketball fans. It's where he got his head coaching start at Pepperdine. So Lorenzo's career, in a way, has come full circle. And he does have a talented team this year. Dan mentioned all the injuries. It's been such a huge problem for them. Petrushchev got in there close but missed the layup. Pull up three, no good, off iron. And the rebound saved off glass. That one no good. Excellent offensive rebound, but then the putback rejected. Joel Ayayi with the runner, but he was fouled before the shot. And Mark Few has had just unprecedented success here in Spokane. Another outstanding team, another #1 ranked team in the country. 13 times in 21 years, in 20 years as the West Coast Conference Coach of the Year. And Mark, the performance on Thursday night was not great. He had a pretty good attitude, I thought, about it. Hey, look, we're inexperienced in a lot of spots. It's going to happen. Sometimes you don't play your best. Tilly. Another good move. Missed that shot. Got his own miss and puts it back in.
Well, you're right, Dave. They didn't necessarily play their best in the first half. The second half, they looked great, and it was because of Killian Tilly being active down in Portland, much like on that possession. He solves so many problems because he can shoot it, he can pass it, he's great on the glass.
Ross flew right by the defense and then draws a foul. So Colby Ross has been extremely active here in the first few minutes, and the Waves of Pepperdine, at least so far, hanging in there against the top-ranked team in college basketball. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Energy on the go. Beautiful scene here in Spokane where the Zags are home against Pepperdine, the #1 team in the country, 8-8. So early back and forth action, first 4.5 minutes. The Zags, Dan mentioned it right off the top, the offense has led the way, and it's the balance on offense which stands out.
Yeah, it's almost pick your poison. Somebody is going to step up at some point in the game, but as you mentioned, 6 guys average double figures, which is unheard of across the country this season. And the 7th guy, Drew Timme, who will come in off the bench, averages 9.9.
What happened to Admon Gilder, by the way? We show 5 headshots, 6 guys average 10+ points. Is Admon feeling left out, maybe?
He got the short end of the stick on that one.
I mean, he does come off the bench, so we'll see him, I'm sure, sooner rather than later. At the free throw line, out of the timeout, Colby Ross, who looks determined. There's Admon Gilder, the transfer from Texas A&M, who has made a big impact already. Had a huge game in a win on the road at the McHale Center against Arizona. Brutal, challenging, difficult non-conference schedule again this year for the Zags, and they came through it with only the 1 loss, 15-1, and that resume part of the reason why they are again the #1 ranked team in the country. Kispert used the screen and found an opening to hit the 3.
You go under a pick and roll against a shooter, you're asking for them to raise up behind at the 3-point line. Kispert has become a more consistent shooter beyond the arc this season. He's also starting to put the ball on the deck a little bit more.
I'm guessing that's not the defensive plan for Pepperdine.
I would expect a hard hedge or maybe even a switch on a pick and roll. But Gonzaga has so many options, it's hard to pick just one.
Out of bounds, good help defense from the Zags. Admon Gilder does come in the game for the first time. Ayayi will take a seat on the bench. Jan Zidek, a freshman from the Czech Republic. Famous college basketball name, especially if you're a West Coast basketball fan. Not easy to get it inbounds. Trying to get it to Jan Zidek, whose dad, George, was a great player at UCLA. The last time UCLA won a national championship in basketball, his dad was a big part of that team.
Lorenzo Romar, assistant coach on that UCLA team.
He was. Ross with the cross-up and then hits the 3 with a hand in his face.
That's the start that Colby Ross wanted to see. 11 points now. Gonzaga has got to make an adjustment and keep the ball out of his hands, maybe trap that pick and roll.
I didn't dig back through the box scores, but I'm guessing that Colby Ross has never played as bad a game as he played on Thursday night. And he looks determined to make up for that here in Spokane. He is off to a terrific start.
He gets a switch, and Drew Timme is left on an island. And anytime a point guard has a big guarding them outside and they start dancing with the ball, they are playing with a lot of confidence.
Kispert stepped back, missed the 3. Skylar Chavez, junior college transfer, who can be a good scorer for Pepperdine. Zidek hits or tries to hit from long range outside the three-point arc.
You mentioned his dad, George Zidek. He wasn't a three-point shooter as Jan is. He was known for that sweeping hook.
He was. Kid likes to shoot it from range. And he'll try another one. No. Passed it up to take the longer two. Should have shot the three.
There's a reason that three-point line is so attractive. Gives you an extra point. Take advantage.
Tilly for three. He in and out. Thought it was going down. Tilly gets it off the miss from Timmy. Missed the follow. So Zags with some good looks here these last few possessions. Still down by 2.
Pepperdine has done a nice job getting back in defensive transition, limiting Gonzaga's opportunities. But that happens when you score and make Gonzaga take it out from underneath the basket after a made basket.
A little up and under. He got the defense in the air. They're going to call the foul on the floor. No basket. Cameron Edwards. What is interesting here for a second game in a row as we start West Coast Conference play. The Zags on Thursday against Portland, the team picked to finish last in this league. And Gonzaga, huge favorites in that game. They trailed by 7 at halftime. They went on a 14 run early in the second half, ended up winning going away 85-72. But for the Zags, it was I think surprising quiet first half performance. Just in the game, Anton Watson with the steal, and he'll go all the way, draw the foul.
Great job in the passing lane, which is where Anton Watson might be at his best as a young freshman. Really good, versatile on the defensive end. But to your point, Dave, about, you know, if you just looked at the score, it might have been a little bit of surprise. But anytime you get into league play, everybody knows strengths and weaknesses. You try to take away the opponent's strengths, make them play their weaknesses. I thought University of Portland did a really nice job of making things difficult for Gonzaga the other night.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. Woolridge checks out for Mark Few's team. And I think the WCC, top to bottom, might be as strong as it's been in a while this year. So even though as soon as Gonzaga got to that #1 spot in the rankings, lots of folks around the country saying, well, they may never give that up, at least until the postseason. That is a traveling violation. Turnover for Pepperdine. The Zags, as good as they are going to get challenged in this league.
Oh, without a doubt. You know, Gonzaga's obviously ranked #1 and rightfully so, but St. Mary's is right there. A very good ball club. They've got some good wins on the season. They've beat Cal. They've beat Arizona State, Wisconsin. Only losses to Dayton, who is a top 25 team now, as Edmond Gilder slices through the lane. But BYU is very good themselves.
This is going to be a competitive league even at the top this year. Gonzaga showing a little pressure, which they've done from time to time. Pepperdine didn't handle it very well, and that turns into a turnover. Gilder almost had it stripped away right back. Ayayi wide open three, in and out. And the rebound controlled finally by Pepperdine. Ross down the court. Fumbled just for a moment. Nice pass brother to brother. And then Edwards had his shot rejected out of bounds. Kessler Edwards was looking for the foul, no whistle.
Well, good look ahead by Pepperdine, but even better by Corey Kispert. Not giving up on the play, getting back into it, coming up with the block from behind. May have gotten a little bit of arm, but the official didn't feel it. Great extra effort by Kispert.
So on the inbound play, Ross, nothing easy, even just getting the ball inbounds for Pepperdine these last few minutes. Zidek, not shy for a freshman, hits the three.
Not at all. Passed up one a minute ago for a little one dribble pull-up. He looks much more comfortable beyond the arc shooting it.
Khrushchev goes right over top Jan Zidek. Tie game 16-16. Ross trying to slip it to the sophomore, up and under move.
Great catch, slipped the pick and roll to Kessler Edwards, and then a nice catch and finish.
But Pepperdine didn't get back on defense. Gilder beat everybody down the floor.
Give Ryan Woolridge a ton of credit. He is one of the fastest players in college basketball on the bounce. But when he's not in, Ayayi's pretty darn good himself that time, doing it with the pass.
Ross, again, dribbling through the defense, finding a teammate. And what happened to that shot from Cedric Altman?
Not known as a great shooter. Gonzaga defensively is a work in progress this year, but what they do so well is they make your non-scoring threats try to beat you.
Timeout on the floor here in Spokane. Tie game here. Everything going right for the Zags. On the court, off the court. We're going to talk about some news from yesterday when we come back.
Next year, I will be furthering my basketball and academic career at Gonzaga University.
Well, that's Jalen Suggs, a top 10 national high school hoops recruit who last night on our air announced that he is committing verbally to play here in Spokane. It was front banner news here in the local paper, the Spokesman Review. They take their basketball very seriously here in this town. All the success they've had. He's the highest rated recruit that Mark Few has ever wooed here to his Gonzaga program, and the recruiting class overall considered one of the best in the country.
Yeah, very good. Paul Biancardi has them as a top 7 recruiting class now. Strother, a really versatile wing. Harris, a great combo guard with athleticism. But Jalen Suggs, Paul Biancardi texted me today saying he's Drew Holiday-like, which is high praise. They had a chance to play against one of the top high school teams in Sierra Canyon, Bronny James and Zaire Wade, and they beat them today. So big-time win for Jalen Suggs in his high school.
Huge news around here from last night. I think everybody expected it, but still. Great job by Mark Few and his staff. A kind of a wild shot from Colby Ross, no good. Gonzaga with a 2-point lead and the ball. Ayayi on the attack will commit the offensive foul. He ran the defender over and they called the foul against Ayayi.
Ayayi very aggressive in transition at times. Being from France, he's got that Euro step kind of shuffle, but the defender, Altman, a great job of staying in front. This crowd doesn't like it.
So they get the court cleaned up. Lorenzo Romar and his team, they get the ball back. Well, Jalen Suggs, when he made the announcement and talked about why afterwards last night, Chavez cut off on the baseline, goes out of bounds off of him. That's a Pepperdine turnover. He specifically cited the positivity of Mark Few, his attitude, the way that the staff recruited him, the feel here when he came to campus and visited and met what could be his future teammates. Anyway, just a great night of news for Gonzaga. Good bounce pass. Gilder open and missed the 3 badly. Good catch by Edwards in transition. Missed the layup. Pepperdine hitting the offensive glass hard, but the Zags come away with the ball. Woolridge to Gilder. He'll try from closer range, and that's an offensive foul.
Pushing transition is one thing. Pushing under control is another. Pepperdine does a nice job getting back and building a wall in transition. Chavez and then Ross getting himself outside the restricted area, drawing the charge on Admon Gilder.
It's more of that pressure from Gonzaga. Altman lost the handle, turned it over. 2-on-1. Back to Ayayi, lays it in. Beautiful fast break.
Picture perfect sharing of the basketball, but Gonzaga creating offense from their defense.
Wide open 3 from the corner. That is no good. Chavez is a good outside shooter. Pepperdine grabs the offensive board though. Ohia Obioha, sophomore from Nigeria. Back out to the junior Colby Ross. Ross. Shot clock winding down. Has to get one off. I think he just did. He missed the shot. They're going to call an over the back violation, a foul against the Waves.
And those are the kind of fouls Lorenzo Romar will be okay with Obiaho in the fact that you're not necessarily a scorer on the offensive end. Go ahead and be active on the glass. See if you can't create a problem, but you've got to rein in that aggressiveness.
Pepperdine has played well so far in the first 11 minutes, down 4. Woolridge down low to the freshman Drew Timme. He made a great move and scores the basket with the foul. But he's one of the most highly recruited players in the history of this Gonzaga program. He showed you why with that move.
Big time player out of Richardson, Texas. But Gonzaga, nice job of getting the defense to focus on the weak side and then snap the ball back and then drop it into the post. Timmy continues to grow as a freshman, nearly 10 points a game. He is going to be a good player over the course of his career in Spokane.
Very under control, savvy. Doesn't look like a freshman most of the time out there. Chavez passed up the three, goes to the left hand, and he draws a foul. So Skylar Chavez to the free throw line, guy who led all of California junior college basketball in scoring last year. A lot of good players in California, a lot of good JC programs. He's at times having to play a little bit out of position. First free throw good.
We've talked about Gonzaga's depth a number of times of having 6 players averaging 10 points or more, but Pepperdine, they've got 3 players in the top 8 in the WCC in scoring, in Ross and the Edwards brothers, but Chavez can get it going on occasion himself. Had 20 against Arizona earlier this year.
Pepperdine took Arizona right down to the wire. Could have, maybe should have won that game. Gives you a little glimpse, an idea. They do have talent on this team. Tilly, great catch, and from there it was easy. Killian Tilly, who played well despite the sort of sluggish effort from the Zags on the road on Thursday night, backing it up here tonight with another good performance. Edwards got cut off, figured he had to shoot the ball.
What team has the luxury of a 6'10" big bringing the ball up the floor like Tilly?
I mean, he might be the best at that in the country. Those over-the-top entry passes, he is just so good at them. Petrushchev missed the shot. But the Zags starting to rev up their high-powered offense. #1 scoring team in the country, #1 ranked team in the country. Gonzaga leads 27-20. All right, well, now we're in the heart of conference season all across college hoops. Tuesday night on ESPN, on the ESPN app, we got a doubleheader for you. We'll start in the Big Ten, #5 Ohio State on the road to take on Maryland. That's a really good game. And then in the SEC to follow, #17 Kentucky will play Georgia, a Georgia team that beat Memphis. Upset win for the Bulldogs today. That is Tuesday at 9 Eastern. These rankings may change. Ohio State lost. Villanova lost. Who else lost today in the top 10? Louisville lost. Oregon had lost earlier. Yes. They won today in a close one. Off the timeout, Petrushchev has had a lot of chances close to the rim and has not been finishing in this first half. So anyway, there could be a rankings shakeup in the top 10.
I completely agree with you on that. There is going to be a lot of movement this college season. I don't think there's any true dominant team being ready for a roller coaster ride if you're a college basketball fan.
Zedek missed his shot. Kispert, I think he wanted to pull the trigger and shoot that ball. Instead, the entry pass goes out of bounds.
Miscommunication between Ayayi and Petrushchev. Ayayi, as most guards are taught, throw it slightly off the spot so the big goes and gets it. Hold your seal and then go get it. Petrushchev just waiting for the ball to come to him.
That's the second travel on Edwards. Kessler Edwards, the sophomore, has not played a great first half. This is a very talented young player.
You're right, talented. 15 points, 8 rebounds a game on the season. He is the younger brother to Cameron. He's got a big-time future in Malibu.
Woolridge lost the ball. Zedek sort of just kind of got in the way. Cameron Edwards, the spin move, throws it up off the glass. Tilly avoided committing the foul. Double team came on Petrushchev. Skipped it over the top from the corner. Kispert shot blocked. Goes out of bounds. Good hustle play from Skylar Chavez. Shot clock reads 6. Pepperdine's offense has slowed down as the first half has gone along. Defensive effort has been there for the Waves. 6 to shoot. Kispert Khrushchev got to get one off. Fade away, came up way short. That's an air ball and a shot clock violation.
Well, that's a team turnover because you've got to understand, baseline out of bounds, 6 on the shot clock. You've got to get into something quickly as far as try to execute on the actual set out of bounds and understand that you probably got one decision to make and then the shot's got to get up. Kispert may have passed up an easy look.
Pepperdine with the ball back. Zedek turns, shoots, scores.
Soft touch. Face up off the block.
I love the confidence too. When the ball touches his hands, it's going up. Tilly, that was good defense. Got cut off on the baseline by Kessler Edwards. This time tries to go by him. Edwards did not make that easy, but Tilly followed his own miss with the left-hand tip in.
Well, he's had some issues with injuries throughout his career, but he looks very active tonight. That pogo stick second jump, the second chance point.
I agree with you. Woolridge went for the steal, didn't get it, and recovers and saves it inbounds. What a neat play from Ryan Woolridge. And Ayayi runs the break. That's a goaltend. Count the bucket for Gonzaga.
That's where Gonzaga can hurt teams. They go from defense to offense as well as anybody in the country. Woolridge not quitting on the play, and then a quick outlet to the big who pushes it himself. Ayayi, the nice catch in the goaltend.
Now that was a neat play. So the Zags get the bucket 31-22. That's the Gonzaga lead. (31-22) Gonzaga at home against Pepperdine's second West Coast Conference game of the year for these two programs. It has not been a rivalry that has been good to the Waves over the last many years. Gonzaga has beaten Pepperdine how many straight times? 37.
That's a lot. And unfortunately for myself, I remember the last Pepperdine win, my senior year. Gonzaga, we were starting to climb up the rankings, and Pepperdine put a hurting on us in Malibu. Did not sit well.
Last time Pepperdine won here was before your time, 1998. Edwards with the left-hand finishes. I did not mean to bring that up necessarily. What a great pass. Tilly down low. You all had a good team.
We did. My senior year, we got ranked as high as 6th in the country. Unfortunately, we played our worst game of the year, the first round of the NCAA tournament, and lost. But so many good Gonzaga teams at the start of this stretch. Couldn't imagine back then what Gonzaga has become. It's been awesome to see.
Hustle play, and Pepperdine comes up with it for the dunk.
If you're Lorenzo Romar, you've got to like this first half for Pepperdine. 4 minutes or so left, you're down 7. And you had a little 4-minute stretch where you couldn't get anything going. A couple turnovers, missed shots.
Hanging in this game against the top-ranked team in college basketball. Woolridge thought about the three. He's shooting so well from the outside. Part of that is he doesn't take shots like that one. He's going to have to heave one here. In and out, no good. Gilder offensive rebound. Kind of rushed that putback, I thought. Cameron Edwards makes his move with a foul. Count the basket.
Face up, post up. Gilder gets out of sync, jabs to the side, allowing Edwards to get to the bucket. A chance for the three-point play when we come back.
(33-28). Under 4 minutes to go in the first half here from Spokane. The Waves kind of hanging around in this game in the first half, by the way. Coming up on our E-Trade halftime report, John Brickley, Dallin Cup, Chris Spatola with a full day of college hoops action to talk about the upsets we already mentioned. Kansas with a heck of a game at home against a really good West Virginia team. And I think your point was a good one from a few minutes ago, Dan. Dave Fleming, Dan Dickow here in Spokane, and that is it's a year where pick whatever word you want to use, balance, parity, whatever. Gonzaga is a very good team. Lots of very good teams, But there will be movement all season long at the top of the rankings because there's so much balance.
Yeah, I think it's going to make it interesting and a lot of fun to watch as the season continues to progress.
I mean, it's not just the tournament's going to be unpredictable. Conference play is going to be unpredictable. Double team comes again. Ayayi down low, tried to hit Watson. That's a Gonzaga turnover.
Rare turnover by Ayayi. And then Ross turns it over himself. Gonzaga's been really good on Ross after his 11-point outburst in the first 8 minutes or so. He has yet to score since then.
Yeah, Ryan Woolridge, Ayayi, and company have sort of clamped down on the junior Colby Ross. Kispert coming off the screen. He's had a fairly quiet first half. Petrushev, that is an offensive foul. Third one called against Gonzaga in this first half.
Yeah, it looks like the official on the baseline called him for a hook. Petrushev has done a nice job from freshman to sophomore year of understanding how to play with and through contact. Top 15 in the country in fouls drawn. That time he banged and then he gave the chicken wing to give himself an extra advantage.
Ross, nifty move, hits the shot.
As soon as I mention it, that he struggled, he gets into space after the switch and gets Anton Watson on his heels. Ross, a creative scorer.
It's a 3-point game with about 2 minutes to go in the first half. Petrushev, they're being stubborn about trying to get him the ball. Watson got fouled. So the freshman Anton Watson goes to the free throw line.
Pepperdine's done a nice job the last few minutes of changing up their defensive coverage on the low block. As far as when Petrushev catches it, they're confusing him. Sometimes they're going in hard double, sometimes they're playing single coverage. That time they came back with the hard double. Watson, the recognition, dived to the rim.
Watson bricks the first free throw. Very talented young player, local kid from here in Spokane, went to Gonzaga Prep. Now the one issue, you see that harness, I mean the shirt, the undershirt is kind of hiding it, but you can see it on his left biceps and underneath his shirt. He misses both free throws. He has had a major problem with that left shoulder.
He's been injury ridden as a freshman, sprained his ankle as well as the shoulder. His high school coach, Matty McIntyre, told me that he never missed a practice in high school, and all of a sudden as a freshman he can't get healthy. It's frustrating for him, I'm sure.
Now he has to switch off on Ross, who uses the dribble move to go by but missed the shot. Here come the Zags. Ayayi with his athleticism. And that's another offensive foul. That's 4 of them.
Ayayi doing the right thing if you're a guard and you've got a big backpedaling in transition. But Zedek looks like he got there in time. May have sold it a little bit, but great job getting back. Coach Few not happy, that's for sure.
He just did the moonwalk over on the sideline.
I'd love to see a replay of that one.
Now the Zags fans are, maybe it took the officials to get these fans to come to life. There are no students here, not many students here tonight. It's still the holiday break. Chavez pulls up, hits the jumper, beauty.
A lot like Gonzaga's WCC opener at University of Portland. Pepperdine hanging in there, making shots, confusing Gonzaga on the offensive end.
Kispert was fouled. All right, so let's take a look at the charge call, see what we think.
It looks like he was there.
All right, Mark Few, how did he feel about the call?
He said he was backing up.
Yeah, which he was, but I think you're right. Maybe, you know, at the last moment, sort of got himself set outside the restricted area. 1-and-1 free throws here for Corey Kispert, who has taken on a much bigger role. Part of what Mark Few has talked about with this team is Killian Tilly played in that national championship game. He's been around for a while. Everybody else either is brand new or has a much bigger role from last year's team. It's almost an entirely new Gonzaga team, which makes their success I think, even more impressive.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, you look at a year ago, Tilly's injury-ridden. Petrushiev played here and there. Yayi really didn't play much. Kispert was the only guy playing big minutes. He's done what a lot of Gonzaga teams have done in the past. Had a returner that has elevated their play to be a staple of what they're trying to do the next season.
Zidek for three, hits it. Jan Zidek.
He has come to play.
Tie game 35 apiece. Timeout Mark Few with 40.3 seconds to go until halftime. The kid from the Czech Republic is not afraid.
Absolutely not. 8 points, 2 of 3 from deep. You got to read the scouting report. You can't overhelp off of a shooter, or Jan Zidek is going to make you pay.
I talked about Dad. George was a great player at UCLA. Played with Lorenzo Romar, who was an assistant on that last Bruins national championship team. Specialized with that little sweeping hook in the lane, battling with Big Country. How about that throwback picture?
Those are two big guys going at it. That's for sure.
1991 to 1995, his senior year. That's the year the Bruins won it all under Jim Herrick and Lorenzo Romar, with a lot of great talent on that UCLA team. And his kid is playing college hoops a long way from home. Look, he's got some limitations. He's got some growth still to come, but the fearlessness is there, and the ability to shoot the ball from range is also there for a big guy.
11 minutes. He comes in and squeezes off 6 jumpers against the #1 ranked team. You've got a lot of confidence.
Good aggressive take there from Petrushiev.
And that's another area Corey Kispert's really improved his game from a season ago. The ability to come off a pick and roll and make the pass that leads to a score.
Pepperdine down 2. Will hold for the final look. Ross is going to get a screen and go to the bucket. Floats one up and hits with 4 seconds, 3 seconds. Woolridge quickly into the front court. The runner, no good. And how about this story here in Spokane tonight? Colby Ross leading the way. He had a terrific first half for Pepperdine.
Pepperdine has come in and not been bashful. They have not backed down. Colby Ross has put together a heck of a first half. 15 points to go along with 5 assists.
And so we got a tie game here in Spokane. The #1 team in the country is being tested 37-37 after the break. John Dallin and Chris will be in studio for the E-Trade halftime report. Welcome back to our Saturday showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy on this beautiful Spokane night. We got a story developing here. The #1 team of the country, Gonzaga, tied as we start the second half with Pepperdine 37-37. The number 37, Dave Fleming, Dan Dickow, is important in this rivalry because Gonzaga's beaten Pepperdine 37 straight times, which is amazing. It would be a shocker if the Waves were to pull it off. If they're going to do it, Dan, they got to ride the coattails of Colby Ross, who has been tremendous so far.
Yeah, he's as good as we talked about in the pregame. He's got 15 points, 5 assists in the first half. He's a really good creative scoring guard. That time over the top of the great defender Woolridge, but anytime he gets a switch, his eyes light up and he attacks Gonzaga's bigs. He's creative and he's been very effective in that first half.
I mean, while Killian Tilly continues his solid play, has been banged up so much so far this year. Had a nice game on Thursday, played well in the first half tonight.
Good to see if you're a Gonzaga fan is the fact that he's scoring in so many ways. He can score off of cuts, off of post-ups, off the offensive glass. He is bringing the energy that Gonzaga fans have become accustomed to over the last couple of years.
Well, Tilly and Gonzaga going to be tested here. Look, Pepperdine is a talented team. They have not played particularly well, especially last couple times out. Colby Ross, Mark Few called it. I think he was excluding his own team, but called him the second best guard in this conference behind Jordan Ford of St. Mary's. Ross has looked like it in this game so far. Zags will have the ball first to start the second half, and Woolridge almost fell down. Ross harassing him. And Colby Ross, coming off maybe the worst game of his basketball life, is playing one of his best. Foul against the Waves underneath the basket. So Petrushiev, who was active in the first half but just didn't make a lot of shots, will go to the free throw line.
To stay on the topic of Colby Ross, you know, Lorenzo Romar talked to us today at shoot-around and basically said, yeah, he didn't play very good the other night. I don't expect that to be the case because the kid works at it. He's a competitor. He's a gym rat. He's going to come ready to play, and I would expect him to come out and perform at a high level, and he's done that tonight.
Filip Petrusev, who actually has been the leading scorer for the Zags so far this year. He's got a really nice touch at the free throw line. One thing about Pepperdine, if the game's close, if it comes down toward the end, Pepperdine is the #1 ranked free throw shooting team in college basketball. It's a thing that they do really well.
It's a great luxury to rely on if it's a close game, but for Gonzaga, they don't shoot it from the free throw line like teams have in the past. Around the 300 mark in college Division I basketball, they only shoot about 67% from the free throw line. It could be a big problem if it's a close game.
Yeah, strange. Kispert shot fake, gets into the lane. Kispert got rejected by the rim. Petrusev just missed the bunny.
Both layup by Kispert and Petrusev they'd like to have back.
Zidek, guess what? He's going to shoot. Why not?
Colby Ross.
Zidek puts the waves ahead. No, that's all right.
Colby Ross penetrates in transition, claps the defense, and Zidek hasn't seen a shot he hasn't liked tonight.
No. Oh, maybe in his entire life. I'm watching him in person for the first time, but the kid could play. He got beat defensively there, though. Zags back up by 1. Young Jan Zidek, just a freshman, has hit 3 3-pointers already. Zags have not shot the ball particularly well from the outside in this game. Ross, here's exactly what you were talking about. As soon as he gets one of those switches, he loves it. This time he created for his teammate.
Well, if you switch defensively, that's great. But if you're a weak side defender, you can't get stuck looking at the ball. That time Woolridge did just that. Edwards a nice cut to a finish.
Petrusev's getting lots of opportunity near the rim.
Ryan Woolridge is one of the better perimeter defenders across the country. Held Nico Mannion to 7 points on 3 of 20 from the field, but Colby Ross has the ultimate green light as a point guard to attack.
Yeah, rare mistake so far tonight, but he is playing a heck of a game.
Push in transition, collapse the defense. Gonzaga doesn't talk, communicate, match up. Jan Zidek says, why not?
Well, Gonzaga got tested on the road on Thursday. Tilly missed the shot after a great move. Trying to fight for that loose ball, rips it away. They'll call the jump ball. Tilly thought that was a quick whistle. He thought he had possession.
That's 3 missed layups in the first 2.5 minutes for Gonzaga. You've got to finish through contact.
This will be interesting to watch, though, because I mean, the Zags on Thursday were down 7 against Portland, a team that on paper is just a total mismatch. They went on that 14-0 run and eventually had as much of it as an 18-point lead, won pretty comfortably. See if they can do something similar in the second half here tonight. The switch, Ross against Tilly. Ross trying to bully his way in there, came up way short. Kispert for 3, good.
He's got such great form on his jump shot. When he's on balance, it looks pure. That time gets out in transition, presents an opportunity for himself.
Zidek, my goodness.
A heat check, I guess. Lorenzo Romar asking him why, but coach, I was feeling it. Killian Tilly does as good a job defensively as anyone in the country of building a wall, going straight up and down without coming down, giving the officials a chance to call a foul. And Kispert straight up and down on the 3-point attempt. Looks pure.
Woolridge down low. Nice look. Tilly dunks it home. And had a word for the freshman Zidek afterwards.
If they're going to double, you present yourself at the front of the rim. Tilly, the recipient of the nice pass from Petrusev.
Lorenzo Romar wants a timeout. Well, kind of sleepwalking through this game. Gonzaga, a quick 7-0 run. And Killian Tilly, who's playing really well these last couple of games, he liked that effort. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Car Hop Classic, only at Sonic. Downtown Spokane, home of Gonzaga University, the #1 Zags. Well, conference play is just not ever easy. Even in a league where the Zags have dominated for so many years. Getting tested for the second straight game, this time by the Pepperdine Waves. Killian Tilly, maybe the best news of all for Gonzaga. He looks like, and he is, I think, their most talented player. He's their most experienced player by far. And he's looking like his old self right now.
He absolutely looks like his old self. He's a kind of a problem solver type guy. He does so many things well. If the opponent goes zone, he can flash to the nail area and make plays, whether it's a shot for himself or the correct pass for others. And then defensively, he can switch, he can guard on the block, and then on the glass, he's pretty darn good as well.
Double team. Ross found Edwards, who challenged Tilly and scored with the left hand. That's a good answer from the Waves. Tilly down low. Petrushev just going to work against the freshman, but the help defense. Kessler Edwards, what a rejection. And his older brother Cameron leads the break. Chavez wide open three, no good. I think he thought it was going down. That one is good. Ayayi.
Just when Pepperdine is starting to show a little bit of life after a Gonzaga run, Ayayi with the big three. Those are the hard ones to take if you're Coach Romar and staff. You do a good job getting back in transition, and then Ayayi hits a transition pull-up.
And then he steals the ball away. 2-on-1. Woolridge kind of got caught in no man's land, tried to dump it down. I think Gonzaga got a little lucky there. But that one's out of bounds off of Pepperdine. Well, you mentioned it, Dan. This is a big sequence. A missed three on one end and then this.
Defense gets collapsed in transition. Ayayi, the big three, and he likes it.
Well, it has a chance to be a really special night in New Orleans. Next Monday, the 13th of January, #1 LSU, #3 Clemson, and the college football national championship game presented by AT&T. Two great quarterbacks, could be the #1 pick of the draft this year and the #1 pick of the draft next year in Burrow and Trevor Lawrence. Two great offenses, all kinds of talent all over the field. And it should be a very special night in New Orleans on the 13th. Can't wait. I could make the lame joke that we're both picking the Tigers to win the game. I have LSU, you have Clemson. Any particular reason for your national championship pick?
I'm not a big follower of college football, but I love Dabo Swinney, the message that he has as a coach to teach players on and off the football field, and the example that he set. So I'm going to go with Clemson, but for no other reason than I like Coach Swinney.
It's good enough reason for me. Pepperdine ball, 7-point deficit against the #1 team in the country. Ross, the floater, no good. Tip up is good. The quick jump from Kessler Edwards. Woolridge saved it in bounds. No, foot was on the end line. That's a Gonzaga turnover.
Rare mistake by Killian Tilly, who's played a superb game this evening. Throw it back to Woolridge. Woolridge wasn't paying attention at all. Leads to a turnover. Talk about turnovers. Colby Ross has been very good scoring it, finding others, but he's also got 7 turnovers.
Chavez, nice little shot fake into the long two, too strong. Another offensive rebound for Pepperdine, this time Cameron Edwards. Waves continue to play hard. Almost another turnover. That little jumper goes down for Kessler Edwards.
If you're Pepperdine, you just want to hang in there. You want to give yourself a chance. You know, you get under that maybe 6-minute mark, you can put a lot of doubt in Gonzaga's mind. You've got a couple playmakers in Ross and then the two Edwards brothers who are both putting together nice nights.
Drew Timme got double teamed, had it knocked out of bounds. With the #1 ranking in college hoops this year has sort of been a cursed position. And I'm not sure that these Zags players will be all that fazed by it, but who knows? I think your point is a good one. Just get it down to the final few minutes, be in the game, you throw a couple shots in, and who knows?
You don't want to be ranked #1 this year, that's for sure.
Yeah, you're right. 6 different #1 ranked teams this season. There's only been one season where there have been more different teams to get to that #1 ranking. Pepperdine didn't like that whistle. So Timme to the free throw line. Missed the first. That's part of what we've been talking about, in that in a close game, Gonzaga's won a lot of close games already this year, but in a close game, this has not been a great free throw shooting team. Timme missed them both.
They're not a great free throw shooting team, but a lot of times, you know, it's because of the bigs. And that's not necessarily the case with Gonzaga, as Ross misses a wild shot. Their point guard, who's going to have the ball in their hands the majority of the time, Ryan Woolridge, is only a 56% free throw shooter, so that's got to be something you keep your eye on for sure in a close game.
Here comes Ross after the missed three. Ross goes all the way and lays it in. We got a 1-point game, 51-50. With 12 and a half to go.
We got to get back in defensive transition and stop the ball, but this zone, this matchup zone for Pepperdine has kind of put a stop sign to Gonzaga on the offensive end.
Yair had it stripped away. Loose ball. Pepperdine. No. Timme with the good hustle. Gonzaga keeps it. There was a whistle, though. They're going to call a foul, I guess. Play by Drew Timme, because I thought it was going the other way.
Ross, a good job getting his hands on the ball to poke it free, and then Timme, first one on the floor after the loose ball. When you're the first one to get on the floor for a loose ball, you're typically going to get the call from the official. Ross kind of dove in after the fact, gets called for the whistle.
Kispert will inbound. Gonzaga hasn't scored a point in about 3 minutes. So to your point about that zone defense, Tilly had his pass stolen away. One of the best passers in college basketball turned it over. Chavez for three. Good! Timeout, Mark Few. Under 12 minutes to go. A Pepperdine team that hasn't beaten Gonzaga in a generation. And on the road, they have a 2-point lead against the #1 team in the country. Has a chance to be an incredible win for the Waves. Still a long way to go, but 53-51 Pepperdine. Well, Mark Few called Colby Ross, a junior for Pepperdine, one of the very best guards in the West Coast Conference. He is playing like it here tonight in Spokane.
He's been a trouble. He's definitely got things going early with 11 quick points in the first 8 minutes. Had a little bit of a lull, but here in the second, he's been spectacular again. Gonzaga has got to locate him in transition, and then when you switch, make him shoot over the top with a hand.
I mean, some uncharacteristic stuff from the #1 team in college basketball. 3 for 13 from three, 13 turnovers. That's a big number with still almost 12 minutes to go for the Zags. It's been sleepier than usual inside the kennel, and maybe Gonzaga fans are starting to realize that their team may need their help here tonight. On paper, an overmatch. In reality, anything but. Gonzaga's down 2 with under 12 minutes to go. This would be shocking.
It would be. You know, you talked to Lorenzo Romar before the game as Tilly gets a nice floater off the pick and roll, but Lorenzo Romar said we need to come in, take away easy baskets, play with a ton of confidence, and have guys make big plays. Well, Colby Ross has made a number of big plays tonight.
Here is Ross, spin move to the bucket. Ross missed the shot. Tilly trailing down low. Petrushchev, no, that's Timmy rather. One dribble, had it stripped out of bounds. Off up Pepperdine. Gonzaga keeps it. Petrushchev still on the bench for Mark Few. I mean, even with Gonzaga's kind of sluggish, sleepy performance on Thursday in Portland, nobody expected this here tonight at home against a Pepperdine team that lost their conference opener at home to Pacific. Tilly draws the foul.
You talk about nobody expecting it. I mean, part of the reason being would be the fact that Pacific under Damon Stoudemire went in and really took the game to the Waves in Malibu. Pepperdine only shot 27% from the field.
Killian Tilly for two. And he makes the first one. Tuesday night, good college hoops doubleheader will start in the Big Ten. Number 5 Ohio State. In fact, I'll be in College Park, Maryland. The Terps and the Buckeyes 7 Eastern on Tuesday, and then following that, number 17 Kentucky on the road against Georgia off a big win against Memphis today. That's at 9 Eastern. Both those games on ESPN, on the ESPN app. Super Tuesday. Conference play all across college hoops. Tilly will get a breather. 10:42 to go. His 2 free throws put the Zags back up by 2.
And Tilly's still working himself into shape. You know, he's been taking a lot of time off in practice to make sure he stays healthy, but it's at that point of the year now where, you know, he's just got to get himself in rhythm.
How about Altman? Good attack and then missed the layup. Gilder got cut off. Ryan Woolridge. A mostly quiet night for him. Whistle away from the ball. That's Cedric Altman, the freshman, down low. Size mismatch trying to battle with Anton Watson. He committed the foul. Team fouls, you can see the number down below the little score bug there. Pepperdine has committed 5 of them in the second half, and there's nothing on Gonzaga's side. That's because they haven't committed a foul. Not one.
It's rare. A lot of times coaches are okay with fouling as long as you're doing it within the context of taking away an easy bucket or jamming up an offensive set from an opponent.
Calling that a travel, so that's another Gonzaga turnover. I mean, I think you're right, and I think it could be that Mark Few would like to see a foul or 2.
Gonzaga's just been slow to react on the defensive end. We credit Pepperdine because they've done a tremendous job of spacing the floor and then getting Colby Ross the ball where he has space and he gets it on the move.
He found Kessler Edwards for 3, no good. Kispert off the dribble into a double team, offensive foul. That's the 5th in this game against the Zags as a team.
Yeah, the crowd doesn't like that call, but it's the correct one. There is nothing there. You've got a wall of Pepperdine defenders right there. Move the ball, swing it to the opposite side. Kispert knew it. Don't expect that to be the case again. He's a smart, heady player. He will remember that, make the right decision the next play.
Ross rejected, but that's a whistle against Timmy. That'll be the 2nd foul against the Zags. The 2 come in short order. Colby Ross to the free throw line with a chance to tie the game. They show the play up on the big board, and you can hear how much Zags fans love that call. Ross missed the first, though.
I don't know where the foul is. Timmy didn't either, but you know, unfortunately that's a foul. But if you look at that replay closely, you see Gonzaga is big. Drew Timmy there going straight up. Gonzaga teaches that as well as anyone in the country. Be straight up vertical and challenge the shot attempt.
1-point game, under 10 minutes to go. Really an amazing night here for Pepperdine. Tilly elevates and scores.
You're struggling. Where do you go? You go to Killian Tilly, who continues to play well tonight.
Gonzaga's finding some mismatches down low. Altman passed up the 3. Here's Ross. He gave it up. In fact, he threw it away. What a great steal by Kispert. Over the top. Petrushev fouled. Filip Petrushev, the sophomore from Belgrade, Serbia, a basketball crazy country, the international tradition with the Zags. Petrushev, who played limited minutes last year, was part of that great Gonzaga team, but not a huge part of it. And has become the leading scorer this year. He's taken a big step forward. Talented guy.
Interesting, last year he declared for the NBA draft, which might have been confusing for an outsider with the process, but he used it as an advantage to learn from NBA front offices. Where does he need to improve? He's taken that feedback and really got himself primed and ready for a great sophomore season.
Now it's loud in the kennel. Three, left side, good! Cedric Altman, who just totally bricked one earlier in the game. That was perfect.
Only his third made three on the season.
Kispert, great shot fake. The answer, though, was too strong. Rebound, Pepperdine down two, but with the ball. They continue to hang around. Colby Ross, just a little opening, he scores.
Tremendous job on that pick and roll, playing with pace, getting the defender on his hip, forcing a switch. And then when the defense is off balance, raise up. Colby Ross has been terrific.
Gilder for three, good. Good defense by Gilder. Ross eventually got by him, but then had it stolen away. Gilder in transition. Pulls up. Pepperdine got back. Ayayi down low. Threw it away. Into a double team. 16 turnovers for Gonzaga.
Ayayi typically sure-handed with the ball. One of the leaders in assist turnover. 5 on the night now.
Gilder off the steal. Timeout, Pepperdine. Well, it finally sounds like the kennel in here. The defense leading to the transition basket.
Admon Gilder getting in the passing lanes, waking up this crowd. The transition break, Gonzaga up 5.
We're destined for greatness. This conference is going to be absolutely insane.
A Sonic Blockbuster season continues Tuesday at 7 on ESPN.
What a game. Under 7 minutes to go here inside the kennel in Spokane. #1 Gonzaga being truly tested by the huge underdog, the Pepperdine Waves. The biggest upsets by point spread, whatever expectation level coming into the game. Last 15 seasons, this one wouldn't quite qualify, but close. Look, Wisconsin, Kentucky, Stephen F. Austin winning in Cameron earlier this year. That's a huge upset. But we're talking about the #1 team in the country, Gonzaga, a Pepperdine team that is 7-8 overall. This would undoubtedly be one of the biggest upsets in the history of the West Coast Conference.
Yeah, but Pepperdine came in with a lot of expectations this season, but they've been rattled with injuries and inconsistent play. They seem to be putting it all together tonight.
Now, if I were Gonzaga, I wouldn't leave that guy open. They did again.
He's closing in on a triple-double. Unfortunately, he needs one more assist, and it includes 10 turnovers, but he's doing everything he can to keep the Waves in it.
Petrushev traveled before he could get the shot off. So that's a Gonzaga turnover. Pepperdine hanging around. 3-point lead, 64-61. 22 for the junior Colby Ross, who grew up watching Chauncey Billups outside of Denver. Came to Pepperdine. One of the all-time greats already, with a lot of basketball still to be played in that program's history. Here's Ross off the screen. Couple dribbles. Got knocked to the floor. No whistle. Here come the Zags. Ross still trailing the play. Almost from behind. Stole it away from Gilder. Admont Gilder's made some big plays for Gonzaga in the second half.
Yeah, struggled the other night at University of Portland. Tonight, with a big three a second ago.
Tilly, great bounce pass. Layup went in. Petrushev thought he was fouled.
He can't seem to make a shot or miss a shot without a reaction to an official at times.
Back to a 5-point Gonzaga lead. Brother to brother down low. And older brother Cameron makes his move. Good defense there, in and out.
Pepperdine's done a really nice job in this zone, not giving Gonzaga any good looks.
Yeah, he used the pass and shot fake and hits the three.
A sophomore from France had a tremendous summer at the FIBA U19s. It's carried over to this season here in Spokane.
That's a whistle and a foul on the floor against Killian Tilly.
Gonzaga beating the zone in a couple different ways. High-low, big to big, the nice finish on the interior, and then collapse it again, getting it to the nail, finding shooters on the perimeter.
Well, when you complain after every play, sometimes maybe you don't get the calls, but I will say for Petrushev, he did get hit in the face on that layup. No whistle. Didn't matter, he made the shot. Kessler Edwards, more good Gonzaga defense. Trying to expand the lead. Tilly really wanted to shoot the three, found a better shot for his teammate, no good. And Kispert makes those usually. That's a foul against the Zags. Pepperdine got away with one.
That's one that Kispert would love to have back, wide open on balance. Usually that's good for three. Shoots it at about 43% on the season.
The freshman Jan Zedek back in the game for Pepperdine. How long will it take him to get a shot up?
I was just thinking the same thing. He checked in, he's open. But you know what? If you're Coach Romar, that's the type of mentality you want from your young players when you play the #1 team in the country.
Over the top lob, and younger brother finds older brother for the layup.
Credit Chavez on the nice back screen. Good execution by Pepperdine.
That was a good little set play. You saw Lorenzo Romar pull the call sheet out of his pocket. He picked the right call. Tilly down low. Underneath the bucket, Kispert was fouled from behind. Well, whatever it was, index card, play sheet, Lorenzo Romar, he picked the right one, didn't he?
Absolutely. Back screen from Chavez frees up the brother-to-brother connection. Pepperdine hanging in there.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Energy on the go. And meanwhile, 69-63 is our score. #1 Gonzaga with the 6-point lead, under 4 minutes left. Louisiana, Miami. That's the final bowl game before the national championship game. It comes up on Monday. I won't give you all the details about that matchup, but yeah, it's an interesting one. 7:30 Eastern, Monday. One last college football game before the national championship. That should be good enough on ESPN, on the ESPN app. The Lending Tree Bowl. Meanwhile, Pepperdine looking for a monumental win. They have played so well tonight on the road against the #1 ranked team in the country. They have tested and challenged Gonzaga. But out of the timeout, Corey Kispert at the free throw line, trying to expand the 6-point lead for the Zags.
And you've got Pepperdine alumni, I'm sure, watching and following this. Doug Christie, Devin Montgomery, Glenn McGowan. Guys that really were a big part of the program in the 80s, 90s, and then early 2000s when Pepperdine was really the class of the WCC before Gonzaga really took off.
They were the rivals when you were sort of helping lead this program to much greater heights. Pepperdine was your biggest rival, I think.
They were. They played a great trapping style, full court press, and then offensively, guys play with a lot of freedom. And I tell you what, they are playing with a lot of freedom tonight. In particular, Colby Ross. Lorenzo Romar has done a nice job of putting the Waves in position to make this interesting.
Off the inbound, 71-63. Ross with the left hand kind of floated one up there. Tip is no good. Two good chances for Pepperdine. Colby Ross has played so hard in this game. Yayi will use the screen from Tilly. Gets it back from Kispert. Tried to dunk it home and missed it.
Well, that attempt shows you that he's healthy, that's for sure.
Wow.
Didn't come up with a two, but
here's Cameron Edwards way short on the three. Well, Pepperdine can't afford too many more empty trips.
And this starts putting in question is, do they begin to foul? Gonzaga, one of the poorer free throw shooting teams in the country. Does Pepperdine use that philosophy?
You got Woolridge, who's struggled so much at the line on the bench right now. That's a whistle and a foul, I guess, against Pepperdine underneath the basket. Skylar Chavez.
And if you look at Gonzaga's free throw percentage, I mentioned only at 67% on the year, but they only have 2 rotation players that shoot over 70% from the line. And neither of them, in Gilder and Kispert, shoot a lot of free throws.
So the 1-and-1 free throw and short. I mean, to your point, it is a weakness for this Gonzaga team. That turns into an empty possession. You're right. Lorenzo Romar may have to consider doing a little more of that on purpose. That last one wasn't on purpose. Ross has that switch. The long three. Off iron, no good. Gonzaga has numbers if they want to be aggressive. A Yayi three, left side, too strong. So the quick shot, when it doesn't go, that helps the Waves. Still in this game. Can they get a good shot? Chavez for three. That one's good. Game's not over. 5-point lead for the Zags. Under 2 to go.
You got to locate Chavez in transition. If there's one thing he can do, he can shoot it from deep.
Tilly down low. Petrushev goes to work and misses. Rebound tipped around. Pepperdine can cut into the lead. 1:35 to go. There goes Ross. Ross to the bucket. Draws a foul. Who do you have to find in transition?
Well, you got to find shooters. In transition, you got to be talking, pointing, and locating shooters, and Chavez is exactly that, a shooter. You cannot allow him to just waltz down the floor in transition into an easy three.
First free throw good for the junior from Aurora, Colorado. Amazingly, this is still in doubt. 4-point lead for the Zags. One more free throw. And it felt like Gonzaga was starting to pull away. They've gone 2 minutes without scoring. 3-point lead. Pepperdine gets a stop. They would have a chance to tie the game. Timeout, Mark Few. Remarkable. And maybe it's been a little bit of both. Gonzaga's made some uncharacteristic mistakes. They've committed a lot of turnovers. They haven't shot the ball particularly well from the outside. But Pepperdine deserves credit for this. And it is a rivalry that has been so lopsided. It's hard to call it a rivalry. They play each other twice every year, sometimes 3 times. But the Waves have had no success against Gonzaga. Over the last 2 decades, they've never won in this building. It's not really the new kettle. I mean, this place has been around for a long time. Gonzaga has beaten Pepperdine 37 straight times. 37 straight wins in this head-to-head matchup. That is in doubt tonight.
Again, you've got to give Pepperdine a ton of credit. They did not play well at all at home to open WCC play in the loss to Pacific. They have righted the ship in 48 hours, and they are taking #1 Gonzaga all the way down to the wire on the road.
Final minute 20. Zags ball up 3. Pepperdine needs a stop. Ayayi. Here's Kispert back to Tilly. Tilly lays it in.
Get some false motion and then a pick and roll with the two guys that you want involved, Kispert and Tilly.
Ross, Edwards 3. That one was way off the mark. The other Edwards with the offensive rebound. Under a minute to go. Cameron Edwards went right by and dunks it on top of Kispert. My goodness.
That was a big-time finish from Cameron Edwards.
Wow. So the Gonzaga basket that added to the lead.
Side pick and roll action. Kispert, the good find. Tilly does such a good job of getting the shot off before the defense get there, and then Petrushev giving a straight line drive to Edwards. I don't care if Kispert was sprinting to the spot. When you give a guy a direct line drive, as Petrushev did there to Edwards, help side can't get there in time. Edwards, the powerful finish.
I kind of feel bad for Corey Kispert. He's the guy who gets dunked on his head, but it was not his defensive mistake. Lorenzo Romar's team still has a shot in this one. We're now 49.8 seconds. I mean, do you target somebody to foul for Gonzaga with those free throw shooting troubles? Do you consider doing that in a one-possession game?
I think you try to direct the ball. I don't imagine Woolridge would be in the game right now for Gonzaga. He only shoots free throws at about 56%, but you try to funnel the ball to one of their worst free throw shooters. And for Gonzaga, if it's a perimeter player, you're looking at Joel Ayayi, or if it's a big, any of the bigs, you're really going to foul. But try to keep the ball out of Kispert and Gilder's hands if you're Pepperdine, because they're the two best free throw shooters.
If you're Gonzaga, do you want to use all of the shot clock here? How deliberate do you want to be?
Well, you want to use plenty of it, that's for sure. You want to make sure you take care of the ball, come to the basketball, anticipate Pepperdine. If they don't foul early in the shot clock, then you have to expect that, yes, they're going to play this possession out, and you just run your offense and get a good shot whenever it presents itself.
Well, Woolridge is in the game. That's interesting. For all of his, he's their best ball handler, but he also is arguably their worst free throw shooter. He's got the ball right here. Kispert trying to go down low. Petrushev is off the floor. Tilly's going to set the screen. Shot clock under 10 now. Killian Tilly trying to go by Zedek. Lost the ball. It's loose, and what? A foul or a kick ball? They call a kick ball, and that puts the shot clock back at 20. So now Pepperdine.
That's a break for Gonzaga. It
Big
looked
time.
as if Tilly may have gotten away with a little offensive foul on the drive, but reset to 20 of the shot clock. Now if you're Pepperdine, you've got to foul.
Got to foul. You got to foul. You can't take it down to the final 2 seconds, potentially down 3. Well, Lorenzo Romar is asking. I think he wanted them to look at the call. They said no. So Tilly catches. Clock continues to wind, and they're not fouling Kispert. And now they do.
But you let 8 seconds run off the clock.
Either foul right away or force the ball to somebody else if Kispert's not the guy that you want to foul. That was the worst of both.
Yeah, it's almost in that situation you want to climb up, make the offense uncomfortable, see if they don't cough up a turnover, and then foul.
Well, Gonzaga is sort of right on their season number. Free throw shooting as a team, 67%.
Kispert is their best free throw shooter by percentage at 80% on the year, but he only shoots a little over 2 a game.
Short. So Pepperdine down 3 with the ball. Ross blocked by Tilly. He got the clean block. Loose ball, and Gilder's fouled. Killian Tilly with a monster defensive play. Colby Ross was rising up to try to tie the game.
What a luxury for Gonzaga to have a big and Killian Tilly who can switch a pick and roll, keep the smaller Ross in front, and then make a play like that.
I think Ross, as soon as he saw that screen, thought he was going to get a good, clean look.
Yeah. I mean, that was a great recognition on the pick and roll from Ross, but Tilly, the quick reaction to get back in the play and come up with a block shot.
Gilder, that's huge, obviously. 4-point lead for the Zags. The only prayer for Pepperdine is to get a shot off in the next couple seconds and then hope for a miracle. Gilder makes them both.
If you're Gonzaga, do not foul.
Ross, Zedek, 3 is no good. The horn will sound, and the #1 team in the country escapes, but not before really being pushed by a Pepperdine team that came to play tonight.
Give Pepperdine an amazing amount of credit. They came to play. Colby Ross, big time game, 24 points, 10 assists, 10 turnovers as well. But Gonzaga and that man, Killian Tilly, made big plays down the stretch.
Wow. 32nd consecutive home win for Gonzaga. Not many have been as close as this one. And the rivalry win streak extends to 38 in a row. 75-70 the final score. We're going to step aside and come back to wrap this one up from Spokane right after this. Second game in a row to start WCC play for the #1 ranked team in the country, Gonzaga. Much closer than expected, and this one particularly so, all the way down to the end. A 5-point win for the Zags over Pepperdine, a team that came in here unafraid, ready to play, making some shots, 7 of 20 from 3-point range, and they came up just a little bit short.
They did. Credit Pepperdine in a monster way because they were not bashful. They did not back down. Colby Ross, 24 points, 10 assists to lead 5 waves in double figures. But at the end, it was too much Killian Tilly for Gonzaga.
So Tilly and company get a win. It was not easy. Pepperdine with a great performance. They come up 5 points short for Dan Dickau. Dave Fleming saying so long from Spokane. Sports Center coming up next.